What is your greatest goal as a parent, as a mother? So I invite you to take a few moments to sense inside yourself what that might be for you. When's the last time that you pondered what your goal is as a parent, what your highest intention for having become a parent is, for raising children is? In this world that we've chosen to bring children in, we're constantly pulled and pushed and prodded into a particular paradigm that normalizes pretending. Culture of pretend. Pretend what you see isn't what you see, what you hear isn't what you hear, what you know isn't what you know, and if you dare to actually speak out of line or think out of line, then you're in trouble. Potentially, within the spectrum of violence, anywhere from you get beaten up or punished through sexual assault or aggression, beating up, all the way to shamed with a single look, shunned into compliance, because we don't do that here. How dare you suggest such ugly things about your father, your grandfather, your mother? And the truth of it is that if we are perpetuating a culture of pretending, so if I, as the mother, live my life disconnected from the truth of my reality, so when I have learned at a young age to disconnect from my body so that I can tolerate the intolerable that's moving through my life, so the violence, the shame, the shunning, the humiliation, the fears, fill in the blanks, right? They just keep piling on. If I've learned to silence the cues in my body that move through me, because at the time when I learned it was intelligent for me to have done so in order to survive, now I teach my children how to do that. But I have not noticed that my context has changed. So I am no longer in the presence of the man that violated me, and yet at the same time in my nervous system what lives as real is that the world is dangerous. And the way to deal in a dangerous world is to pretend that the violence isn't actually happening. But the truth of it is that it is happening. And in the culture of pretending inside myself, in the internalized bullshit of pretending inside myself, the only thing that I actually managed to achieve, so yes, survival, sure, but now I teach my daughter how to survive, and now I teach my son how to be a perpetrator to ensure that others survive around him. And so keeping the bar pretty damn low in terms of exist. That's not how I choose to live my life. And in order for me to choose not to live my life like that, I have to be willing to notice, pay enough attention inside my being, where I live, inside this body. Pay enough attention so I begin to notice when something feels off, when something feels violent, when something feels like it is not how I want to live my life. Because once I begin to notice that, then I can notice what's the undercurrent that's running the show of my life here. And it is in that undercurrent that I might discover something about myself that I continue to hold as real that no longer serves me. So something as simple yet complex as hanging on inside my body to the illusion that if I'm pretending, then I'm safe. And therefore I am safe in pretending. And teaching my children how to do the same. In that, I ensure the intergenerational violence continues. So what does it take to actually notice? Well, it takes bringing myself back to the present moment. What does it take to bring myself back to the present moment? It takes noticing. So it's like, paying attention. Paying attention to my life, paying attention to how I move through my reality, paying attention to the moment that I'm in is the moment of power. The moment that I'm in is the moment of opportunity, of evolution, of something, choosing something different than the habituated, mindless response. So it takes putting my phone down. It takes noticing that I feel this agitation inside myself. Stop. Stop and notice what is going on inside the container that is our body. Because once we begin to pay attention, once we begin to notice, once we begin to integrate, and it is layered, we can start to notice where we lie to ourselves. We can start to notice where we keep secrets that function to only protect the predators. Meanwhile, our children are being predated on. So it takes us as the mothers, it takes us as the guardians of the vision, the greater vision of who our children are capable of becoming, to stop and pay attention. Not to what's going on with our child and, how unfortunate what's going on with them is, or whatever it happens to be, but what's going on inside of me. Before I yell at my kid, before I shun my kid, before I give them a look, or before I give them the iPad, notice, what am I trying to diminish? Because it is in that moment of my noticing that I am indeed trying to diminish something that I stop the internalized normalization of pretend. So I choose to live my life this way. I choose to live my life not pretending. I choose to live my life even if I don't want to, quote unquote, deal with something right now, which is the only moment that I have power in, by choosing not now, mindfully and congruently. I know it is now in my peripheral awareness, and it will inevitably come to my awareness again, and I will process it then. But in owning the truth of my experience in the moment that I'm in, which is not now, is that I mindfully choose to be present to what is authentic for me in the moment. And sometimes not now can be an escape. So that's what it takes, to be mindful. That's why it's important to be mindful. To notice, am I moving towards something or am I moving away from something? So all of that requires we pay attention to our internal cues. All of that requires that we say inside ourselves, not as an affirmation, but it has to be a visceral emergence of, I am done pretending what I know that I know isn't true. I am done pretending. And then that in and of itself opens up a space energetically where you get to choose differently. I hope you found this helpful in some way. If you did and you'd like to continue to follow my work, please do so. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, go on my website and sign up for my newsletter, sparkingthesacred.com. I look forward to the next time. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do write them below or email me. I'd love to hear from you.